DJ.
It's Jame.
And this is
A Sip
and a Shot Shooters. We're back with the Kyndra Crump. She just did our bum ass episode that you guys have just heard. We're gonna do a shooter with her because we have to.
Yes.
And you know what, y'all? She came up with the topic this go round. Okay. So Kyndra, go ahead, give it to us.
All right. So, do you think it is questionable if a guy? What do you guys think about men who take a bunch of different selfies and they're like smoking weed in their selfies and stuff like that? What are and they have a government job, I guess. So what do you think about that? Because I, was dealing with that.
My take on, I've always said this. I think it's questionable when a guy has too many selfies. I think, like, if you're doing duck face, you have all the filters on. If you have, like, an Instagram page that you just, like, ooh, that's a bit too much for me.
That's a red flag for you?
Maybe not a red flag, but it's just not for me. It's not for me.
I don't have an issue with it. I would appreciate a man who takes photos of themselves, whether it's a selfie, whether it's, their picture, because I like taking pictures of myself. And I
think it's a personality thing.
Yeah, I don't want to be judged because if you go to my page, I have a lot of selfies, I have a lot of pictures of myself because it's my damn page. Mm-hmm. And I like how I look. So that's what I like to do. So I don't think I would judge a man, especially if you can take nice photos and you understand your angles. That wouldn't bother me much.
Now, is there a difference between, like, professional, like, portrait? Like, if somebody else is taking your picture versus you doing selfies, is there a difference?
No, it doesn't matter to me. I like a good selfie.
Matters to me.
I mean, but at what point, I guess my thing is, like, is there, like, a limit, though? Because if you look on his page and just see, like, nothing, you keep scrolling up, and you just see, like, maybe him and his bros, in a lot of the pictures as well, no woman. Like, does that not make you seem like, okay, or... They always got their cap on. You don't even know what they look like without their cap. Hatfish.
Hatfish is different.
A hatfish is a problem.
And not if it's like the same selfie. Like every picture is the same pose. It's the same angle head. It's the same. Then that's a little different.
Or you know how like older people take pictures where they're like real close to the camera and it's like the same pose every time. Mm-hmm. When it's all down for some reason. Like they're always...
Do you ever question or call out the men when they do this, or you just like, nah, I'm not gonna keep talking to you?
It's not I don't have time for that.
It's not your ministry.
That's not my ministry. I
don't think it would bother me. I think I would just elevate their photos. I guess I don't know. I don't think it would.
There's one person that comes into mind.
I think it's a double standard because women can take as many selfies as they want. Their page can be full of selfies and things about them, but we look at men differently if their page is full of selfies, which I don't think is right. But that's just me.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I have a lot of guy friends, and the way that they take pictures is not like, oh, I want selfies. I'll have somebody else take a picture of me, but me doing it with like them.
For me, it's like, who took your picture? Who took that picture? That's where I go. Who took that picture?
And that might be toxic.
That could be toxic. But you know what? But here's my thing, like, when it comes with being toxic, like, when did you guys know, like, okay, because I learned, do you believe that everybody has some level of toxic in them? Yes.
We always have levels of crazy.
When did you realize, like, okay, I think I'm toxic? Just a little bit.
Girl, you about to make this a damn therapy session. I'm
trying to think, when did I think I was toxic?
You were toxic your whole life.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Pretty much.
I just recently realized I was toxic. And when I say recently,
that's true.
Like 2 days last month, I realized I had toxic qualities. I'm not going to say fully toxic.
People might have been throwing up some flags to say, hey, that's a little nutty. Like, that's a little much.
But I think, for me, my toxic ways were more so toxic to myself than toxic to other people.
Yeah, no, mine's probably toxic to other people.
Yes.
I mean, it's okay. Listen, that's what makes us all unique.
What about you? Do you feel like you have any toxic traits?
now if somebody tells me, like, I try to be very calm, cool. Number one, I try to treat people like I want to be treated. Okay, I remember this one guy, who was a very bad titty licker. Okay, we're gonna call him Bad Titty Licker. Okay, so Bad Titty Licker, who was the plug, who had no car. How you sell weed but you ain't got no car? What's up with that? Okay, I'm gonna call the Better Business Bureau on you. Back to the story. So I remember, like, we always had this thing where we kept going back and forth with each other, and I'm like, no, don't go, and then he'd be like, no, you don't go, and then like finally we just dispersed eventually. And as I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, I think that was toxic by me trying to keep this guy in my life who really had no place in my life, in all honesty. So with that being said, now what I do, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you, even when it comes with the previous guy I was just saying about, him and the stuff that he had going on and everything else. I'm like, I'm sure he wanted me to say, no, babe, wait, I'll be better. No,
Sure do.
And then guess what? We would have been divorced like 2 months later. Oh no, 2 days later.
Yeah.
Would have been an annulment.
But yeah, as far as what I like to say, I treat people like I want to be treated. I don't like arguing. I don't like arguing. It takes a toll on me. I don't like, I'm not going to, if you tell me not to do something, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to, that's what I try not to do is respect you. I try to respect you as a person, male, female, whomever. If I call you a friend, somebody who I, really care about, I'm not going to do that type of stuff. But no, like I said, I think the problem is you got a lot of adults, in quotation marks, who just thrive off of, oh yeah, well, I'm going to like sit here and key their car or take out their transmission. I'm like,
toxic as hell.
You're proud of that? Okay.
You have issues. That your set of, you need to be written up and put into some type of care.
And but I do believe that some people bring that shit out of you.
They do.
Like, especially when you're young and you don't have all your shit together. Like, a man can bring that toxic trait where you want to key that car, and because like they're not listening to you, and you need them to hear what you're saying. And since men are so visual, let me let you visualize the scratch across your car.
But what I tell my guy friends a lot of times, where they're like, oh, girls are crazy, women are crazy, and I'm like, y'all don't realize what you do to bring a person to that point. And I'm always saying that whenever people start a relationship, there's consistency there at the beginning. Like, they might text you good morning every single day. They are not a day late, not a dollar short. They are on time every single day. Then all of a sudden they stop. And you start questioning, like, oh, is he okay? We on day 29 or 30. And all of a sudden,
sometimes
something's
day 372.
It might be a year later.
Yeah.
And then you're questioning, like, hey, are you okay? And then they start acting different. And then people start getting gaslighted. And it's like, I don't know why you acting different. I don't know why you acting like that. I ain't changed nothing up. And then you start feeling like you're crazy.
Like, is it me? Did I change?
Did I do something wrong? You start trying to, like, overcompensate for their feelings or try to adjust things in your life. You realize it's not you, it's them.
It's them.
It's like, it's not me. And that might bring somebody to a breaking point, because you're like, I'm giving all my love, all my affection. I'm throwing 100% of myself into the mix. You giving me sometimes 0.5 to 72% of your time. And don't throw another girl in the mix.
Or another boy.
Or another boy.
I've never had that experience.
I hope we don't. I hope nobody does.
I've never had that experience where a man.
Somebody knock on wood. Let's knock on wood.
Just knock on something.
There it is.
Yeah, knock on something.
I've had that experience. Like, the men I've dated have liked men, to my knowledge.
Yeah, that would be a doozy.
You know what? I remember. I think I asked you this. What? I think I asked my friends this. Would you rather your man cheat on you with another man or another woman?
Another woman.
You're a woman. What about you, Kyndra?
Woman, definitely woman.
I'm man.
Because the man has something you cannot provide.
Yes.
I know.
When you think about it, like, if my man cheated on me with another man, you're not going to compare yourself to that man. Versus if he cheated on you with a woman, then it's like, well, what does she have that I didn't have? What does she do that I didn't do? Now this man, he could provide something that I couldn't provide.
And my thing is, for you to cheat on me with a man, you're hiding more of yourself than you were with a woman.
But that's fine. That's on you.
No, it's all on you.
It's on you.
Me as a woman or a man, it's all on you.
Realistically, women think about themselves when it's with another woman.
That's true.
If it's with a man, okay.
My thoughts would go way far. With a woman, I'm like, oh, that's some regular shit that niggas do regularly.
Well, that's something that you need to deal with because it shouldn't be regular.
I mean, not regular, man, but I'm saying if guys are cheating, chances are they're out cheating 99% of the time with another woman rather than another man. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, if it's another man, it's like, well, okay, you first of all, you cheated. Then you just blew the spot all the way the fuck up by doing whatever, what have you, with a man. And then it's like, have you always been into men? Why did you date me? How did we get here? Is this Will and Grace? Like, what are we doing? Has your whole life been a lie? Has our relationship been a lie? Like, there's a whole nother spiral of things versus you cheating on me with a woman. It was like, oh, you're just a fuckboy. You're like a raggedy ass nigga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't want to deal with a raggedy ass nigga. I'd rather deal with someone who is not in touch with their full selves yet.
Clearly he was.
That's a tough question. Like you really thought like that's a really good question. That makes me think like it's just I don't know. I feel like if it's with another man, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't HIV start from like homosexual sex? I've been taught that it starts from homosexual sex.
I don't think so. I think it was more prevalent in that
LGBT community, yeah.
But I don't think it started there. I think it might have presented there first, but I don't know how it started.
Yeah.
And then now it's just there. Anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, from what I was taught, and that's the only thing that scared me. Where I'm like, oh no. If he's with a man, he might, But this is what happens when you don't, you listen to one thing, you don't really do too much of your research, and you have multiple people like the blind leading the blind in a sense. But yeah, that like I said, that to me is just. Here's what's crazy. I messed around with guys who did something with men, but I didn't find this out till like later on down the line, and I'm like, wow, and still to this day they won't admit it. I'm like, brother, that was 5 years ago. We're in a new decade, just be you, but I think it's shameful. Honest. It's shameful, they because society accepts women being with each other, but society does not accept men being with each other.
Yeah, it's harder for that. But
that is true.
Like a lot of women aren't. I've never met an actual woman tell me, hey, I'll date a bisexual man. It's always men are like, no, I'll deal with a bisexual woman type of thing. I have not come across one woman yet who says, I'll date a bisexual man.
And I don't think you'll come across it tonight either.
I was like, not here.
And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, would I date someone who...
Probably not.
I don't know.
Nothing against it. It's just not for me.
Not exactly same
for you. I really don't know. I don't. Ooh, Lord,
I don't. I think it's like one door for you to step out into was enough for me. Opening up to 2 doors, that's a little much. I can't wrap my head around that. Maybe with time I could, but right now,
at this age, at this grown age, I think that's it.
At almost 30, I'm okay.
Yeah, I think it's different shows for different folks.
Yep,
you can deal with it. You can deal with it.
Do you, boo boo? Whatever floats your boat. That's
exactly. That's true. Exactly.
Yep.
Well, thank you for joining our shooter.
Yeah.
This is fun.
I don't close it out. You close it out.
It's VJ.
It's Jane.
And this is
A Sip
and a Shot. Bye.